Let's talk about feminine energy when it comes to dating. I am so excited, everyone, because today I have an amazing feminine energy expert. I will let her introduce herself, but I found this woman through some Facebook groups, and she shares the most valuable and amazing insights when it comes to feminine energy. So, Carla, please let us know who you are, what you do, and what led you down this path to diving deep into feminine energy and sharing your wisdom and knowledge with women all over the world.
Oh, hi. Thank you. So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here and share with women watching. So, I'm Carla. I'm the founder of the Feminine Energy. I founded the Feminine Energy 2 years ago. 2 years ago already. Time goes fast. So, I started it as a way to share, my journey, what I've been learning, because I've been in this major feminine awakening and journey ever since I got pregnant for my daughter 13 years ago. So it has been a journey with many stages, many ups and downs, etc. So, but I came to a point where about 2 years ago, I went through a major breakthrough, and before that breakthrough, I hit rock bottom because I was too much in my masculine energy and hustling and working hard and doing everything myself. So I was a full-time single mom. My days were like a never end list of things to do. And I hit rock bottom, and I said to myself, no, I cannot live like this. I'm going to have a burnout. I cannot have a burnout. So I decided I have to shift. And I had a major breakthrough at that time. And I decided to start the Feminine Energy as a way to help other women, because I thought there are other women in this journey. There are other women who need this this knowledge, and who need to know how to break through all of this. So I started as a way to help women on that, and it started to grow, and so I started the community on Facebook, and it just started to grow organically from there. And because my goal was to reach as many women as I can, to create a community and help women who need.
That's amazing. And I'm sure so many women can relate when it comes, especially single moms, when it comes to, the hustle and having to do everything yourself and providing and really stepping into that masculine role. I feel that is so relatable. And it is so obvious by the amazing and large communities you've grown in terms of feminine energy. And I know for myself, one of the reasons I'm so excited about this topic is that after divorce, when I started dating my new partner, and at the time I was can consider me a single mom too, right? I was doing everything myself. And then I started dating again. And at that point, I didn't understand all these principles of feminine energy. And I have to say that you were talking about your rock bottom. I hit a rock bottom in my new relationship because I didn't understand all these feminine energy principles. And I love to share how, as soon as I started implementing feminine energy into my own life and then into that new relationship of mine, we went from we were dating for 6 years. And I know people will have opinion like, oh my gosh, as if you were dating for 6 years. Once I started embodying feminine energy, that's when my new partner really stepped into his masculine, and he got down on one knee and he proposed, and it happened super quickly. So I love this topic because it is so powerful.
Yes, absolutely. And to me, that was one of the biggest experiences. And it was, I think, one of the most challenging things that I had to overcome was my patterns in dating and relationships. And men can be a mirror to where you are in your journey, in your feminine awakening. They will reflect back to you, because I think when we are in a victim mode, we tend to point fingers like, oh, it did me this, it did me that, etc. And we are very much in victim mode. But I think when we start taking accountability, but why did I accept this? Why did I accept this kind of dynamic? Why? And you start realizing it's just becoming a mirror. It's just a mirror to you, to the things you have to work in yourself. And that was, for me, was one of the most challenging things in feminine energy, was to really look at my patterns instead of calling someone else toxic, where I am being toxic. Have to look at that. Absolutely.
I love this, what you're bringing up right now. And I want to get back to it because I want to dive into right now. I want to talk about your definition. I took some notes because I want to, like I said, I want to come back to this. But I'd like you to define for us, what is feminine energy? Can you just give us a definition of what is feminine energy? What is masculine energy in your opinion, in your words?
Okay, so just very simple. Masculine energy is doing, it's about doing. Feminine energy is about being. So they both complement each other, and we all have each other. We all have both, sorry. And we need both in order to function properly, in order to be whole. But masculine energy, it's more of a rigid energy. It's more of a straight line. So I set a goal. What do I have to do to get to that goal? And I'll do it. That's it. And feminine energy is about being. It's not about, I think a lot of women think, oh, it's passive. I'm just going to sit on my sofa sipping tea all day.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's also about doing, but it's doing from being.
Mm-hmm.
So put the being first. It's about enjoying the journey. It's not just about being in automatic mode, just running around doing tasks, etc. And I don't even feel what I'm doing. No, it's about enjoying the journey. It's about being in the present moment. It's about giving meaning to what you're doing, and it's about doing and creating from your soul, for what feels aligned, for what feels inspiring.
And I think that's where the biggest misconceptions are too, right? When you were talking about it's still doing, but it's kind of a different way of doing. And it's a doing that feels like when we learn how to do correctly, I feel like we feel better doing it, right? When we're in the hustle, masculine energy mode, it doesn't feel good. Like we tend, and you talked a little bit about, women, we can fall into victimhood. It seems like a lot of women have resistance sometimes. And it's because we're kind of trapped into this, we feel like we need to do, especially if we're single moms. But at the same time, we're not realizing, or it's hard for us to shift this paradigm of we're still going to do, but we're going to do it from being, like you said. And you know what? It's going to feel a lot better once we can make that switch.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to give this example, for example, of cooking. You can see it like a task. Okay, I have to get dinner ready. What do I have to do? Get these ingredients, get to the kitchen, do it, bam, it's done. Or you can enjoy the process. You can, for example, to me, it's enjoyable if I do it with my daughter or with my partner. It's a lot more enjoyable. And we can have fun in the kitchen, and we can smell the ingredients, we can touch, it's an experience. It's not just have to do this like I am in a business, in a company, right?
Yeah. I need to achieve the recipe.
Yes, exactly. So you are having an experience and enjoying the moment. So I think that's the main difference. And they both, as I said in the beginning, they both complement each other, both energies. We cannot have one without the other.
Yeah, and I feel like that's also, and we'll talk about it a bit later, so I don't want to jump in right away, but I love that example of the kitchen. And one of the things too, like you talked a lot about how it's complementary, the two energies are complementary, but they're also attractive to one another, right? Like if you're in the kitchen with your man, or the guy you're dating, and you're making it an experience. Like he's just so used to achieving and everything, and hitting that goal. But if you're in the kitchen and you guys are listening to music and you're cooking and you're flowing and enjoying the moment and really feeling the experience, and he sees that, and to him that's totally magnetizing. Like, oh, look how happy she is. Oh, and she's happy doing this with me. And it still feels his sense of achievement, but in a different way, and in a way that's really attractive and magnetic to him. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely, especially masculine men, because they are so much in their masculine energy all day long. They are doing both. They are surrounded by masculine energy. So they crave feminine energy. They crave that playfulness, that that experience, that energy, because that's what feminine energy is. It's playful. It's going back to when you were a little girl and enjoying life and jumping in muddy puddles. It's just having fun. It's just being playful. And masculine men crave that energy in their lives because they just don't have it.
Yeah.
in the daily, what they're doing in their businesses, in going to the gym, so they crave that energy, and not just crave, but they know how to hold space for it. They know how to honor it, and they appreciate it. That's the difference. That one of the main differences between a man who is not in his healthy masculine and a man who is, because a man who is in his healthy masculine, he will love it. He will appreciate it and be so happy that he has that.
Yeah. So why would you say, and we kind of talked a little bit about this or alluded to it, but why would you say women tend to fall into their masculine energy? What happens there? Why is that so common? I feel like it happens a lot. I see a lot of women in their masculine, and some are in relationships, right? Some are single moms, some come from all sorts of different backgrounds. So what would you say it's going on in our world, nowadays?
Well, I think it's when we were in the 50s, women had to stay at home. They didn't have an option,
Yeah.
to be a housewife. Then we started going into the work market and build businesses. And I think we took it to the other extreme, way too far. Now I don't want anything to do with the house, not anything to do with, being at home. Now I'm a businesswoman. And it just went, and I think we've been living into extremes. And now we're living in an era now that we're starting to have a balance and finding a balance in the middle. So you can choose nowadays, you can choose. But I believe what makes a woman be so much is in their masculine energy is that, it's that fact that we've been pushed in, but it's also from the way we were raised. Very often it's from our bringing. It's maybe we had masculine mothers, were single mothers, or we see them doing so much and being so in their masculine and doing more, and we observe that and think, oh, this is how life is, is how reality is, this is how I need to be in order to survive. And very often we had dynamics when we were a child or a teenager where we were pushed into masculine energy. We were pushed into, we didn't have like space for our feminine energy and space for our emotion, space to feel, space for our intuition. No, we were just pushed into achieving, into doing. And especially if we didn't have emotional validation from our parents or caregivers, when we were a child, we were going to be seeking that in achievements. You're going to be seeking that in achievements in sports, in business, in dating, in relationships. We're always being too much in doing mode because we are seeking that attention, that validation. And so for a lot of women, me included, this is what happened. This, of course, we're all different. We all have different journeys and experiences. But this usually it's about not having that space to explore your feminine energy when you're growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nowadays it's funny because you were talking about kind of the roles in relationships. And I mean, from a woman's perspective, like we've made so much progress in terms of having these choices and options. But it's funny because in relationships and loves, it's brought these new complications, right? Like now that we have more things to kind of figure out, or when we don't know about, feminine masculine balance, we might like throw that off because we've had these new opportunities, or even just like, I'm going off topic here, but now just having expectations with your partner, now that both partners can work, like who's going to do housework, who's going to do this, and just navigating all these different choices. With choice comes great things, but also, potential chaos if you don't really, become intentional and have good communication, or, know kind of all these skills and these concepts. So not to say it's overly complicated, but once you really understand feminine energy, then you can counterbalance that and kind of fix or readjust for the world we live in. And I can totally relate to what you were sharing, right? Like I'm sporty. I was always like trying to achieve in sports and school and in work and stuff. And I still do some of those things. Like I'm one of those people who say, like, I just operate in those things now in feminine energy. Now that I know that, now I infuse more playfulness, like you were saying, into my sports. It's not, about validating myself. It's about having fun. And same thing with my work now. Now I take it from a totally different perspective, right? It's enjoying the moment, like savoring kind of what I'm doing and fulfilling a passion and a mission, as opposed to, trying to win something or, achieve a financial goal or get a promotion or something like that. It just took a different spin for me so that I could stay in more of that feminine. So what would be, why would a woman want to be in her feminine specifically when dating? Let's kind of spin or focus, hone in on dating. Why is that so important?
Okay, so what just to say this, so one of the things I don't do, I don't tell any woman you need to be in your feminine energy when dating.
Okay.
I don't tell any woman this because it's a choice, right? There's no right or wrong. It's a choice, but you need to know who you are and you need to know what kind of partner you want. So this is the most important thing in dating and relationships. It's because if you're going to fit into a box where you're not, you're going to attract the wrong people, the wrong men. So you need to know who you are, and I am in my feminine energy in dating and relationships because it's what's natural to me. It's my core essence. I don't feel good chasing men or pursuing men. So it just feels I'm out of my nature. So that's who I am. And the partner that it's a match to me, it's a Melanist masculine energy. It was going to offer me the polarity. So most women who find the feminine energy, they are women who also want to be in feminine energy in dating. But they have to, it's not about learning how to be in feminine energy in dating, it's about unlearning certain limiting beliefs and patterns and behaviors that you have been doing. And so it's important because if you are a feminine woman and you want to attract a masculine man, you need to be in your feminine energy when dating. You cannot be in masculine energy because otherwise there will be no polarity. You won't recognize a masculine man. You won't accept a masculine man. You'll be in conflict, in competition. You won't see you. So it's important to be in your feminine in order to attract masculine. It's about the polarity, basically.
That's so interesting because, like you were saying, you said, I that just caught my attention there when you were saying, you'll never tell women to be in their feminine. Because are you saying, like, technically, I guess a woman could, if she feels better in her masculine, she could just be in her masculine, that's fine, and attract a more feminine energy partner, man, I guess, in her life. And if that works for her, if that feels good for her, that's fine, I guess, in a way. That's what would be fulfilling in the relationship for her. Is that what you're saying there?
No, what I'm saying is that we all have our journeys. Okay. And sometimes even before I step into my feminine energy in dating and relationships, I was in my masculine energy in relationships. And I would get very angry if I have someone telling me, oh, you need to be feminine in relationships. Because I was like, who are you to tell me that? Or no, I have to protect myself. Because men are this or men are that. So that's why I was saying I never tell a woman, because you need to realize that you are feminine, and being your feminine energy with anyone is the right time for you.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're all different. We all have different timelines. So there was a time when I feel like I needed to go through that experience of being in masculine energy, because I needed to learn things about myself. I need to learn certain lessons, and now I realize that's what it was.
Yeah. So it's just part of the journey.
It's part of the journey. Yes. So I basically, with the feminine energy, I help women who are ready, are in their timeline and ready to make this shift and to be in feminine energy in their lives, in dating and relationships.
Thank you for clarifying. That makes so much sense. And I think that's where I mentioned earlier too, and you were talking, we're talking about, a bit victimhood or like resistance too. And, it's just part of the journey and understanding and learning yourself and living those experiences. And then, like you said, it's an unlearning. I like how you really use that word even more than a learning. It's in many ways, it's an unlearning, stepping into feminine energy.
Yeah, it's about, because we are already feminine. We don't need to learn to
Yeah.
be feminine. It's who we are. It's our core essence. We are feminine since we were born, right? So because maybe even before we were born, we decided to come here into this world as a feminine woman.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is peel all the layers of what we are not. Remove the armor. I call it a lot of remove the armor, the masculine armor of protection and for survival mode that you have been wearing. That is
Yeah.
too heavy. It's just removing that. It's just releasing what you are not to reveal what you truly are and what you already are. Because and that's why I tell women in the feminine energy, it's about becoming your own version of feminine energy, your own authentic version, what feels right to you. So it's not about having to do all these, oh, now if I want to be feminine, I have to behave like this, I have to wear this, or no, it's
Yeah.
becoming your own version. And this is in dating and relationships as well. It's become
Mhm.
your authentic self, because that's what's going to attract right men into your life. Because
Yeah.
a man within his authentic masculine energy is going to want a woman within her authentic feminine energy, in her power,
Yeah, so
basically.
it's important when you're dating and also in maintaining the relationship too, just maintaining the spark there and the attraction and everything, making sure, because again, once you're in the relationship too, you'll get challenges that come your way, there'll be different, obstacles that you have to face, and it's your opportunity to kind of stay in that mode. And because otherwise, like I was mentioning earlier, which is what I experienced, I started adding all this masculine energy, into the way I was showing up. And that was just kind of, like I said, it got us to hitting our rock bottom until I was ready to unlearn and to step into my feminine. And that's when I saw a huge shift too. So
Yeah.
important. Hey, how about, are there any tips that you could share with women in terms of like I know you said, it's not about prescribing something and specifically, wearing something or doing something, but do you have some tips in terms of how women who are watching today, could start embodying more feminine energy?
Okay, so you mean in general or specifically in dating and relationships?
Let's talk about well, yeah, let's stick to the context of dating maybe. Let's start there.
Okay, so I think one of the most important things is to let men be men.
Yeah.
If you want to be in your feminine energy, let men be men. Let men act like they want to. So what this means is step back, lean back, stay centered, stay grounded. Because if you are in the presence of a healthy masculine man, it's not about fireworks. It's about feeling like a fireplace. You will feel calm. You will calm down your nervous system. So you don't need to chase him. You don't need to pursue. You don't need to initiate and make plans and plan dates. So you can just be in receiving mode. So it's about let him come to you and lean back, right? And open up to receive as well. Open up to receive, because you cannot be with a masculine man if you're not open to receive.
Yeah.
So, because they masculine men, the truly masculine men, they are very much in doing. They love doing. They love providing. They love protecting. And when I say providing, it's in many ways. It's not just financially, but it's emotionally. It's making you feel safe, making you feel protected. It's knowing that you arrive safe home after date. It's providing lots of different things. So let him do that. let him be receiving.
How about women who maybe are not dating? What's yet, or maybe they currently don't have a partner? What are some feminine energy tips that you can give just to practice? So I guess in this case, it would be just in everyday life, right, where they can practice being in their feminine energy, so that when they are going on dates or decide to start dating again, they're already, building that habit or making that second nature for themselves again.
Well, I think one of the most important things is slow down.
Mm,
Slow down in your everyday life, because we are rushing all the time. Many women, especially if they're single moms, they are rushing all the time. Always one. It's like I'm doing something because I'm already thinking about the next one. So I'm not never in the present moment. It's slow down. because I always tell, my even my clients in our sessions, or one-on-one sessions, if you don't have time during the day to do something, slow down. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
but it's completely opposite. Yeah, it's because this is all an illusion. You're thinking you don't have enough time. It's because you're not prioritizing. You want to do everything. So it's about slowing down. You know what I mean? Slowing down is truly slowing down. It's talk slower. It says walk slower. So yes, it's just about prioritizing. We only have a limited amount of energy per day. So it's about prioritizing. It's about slowing down and enjoying in the present moment what you are doing. It's not, because that will reflect on dating. When you start dating, you will be present with a man. When we are talking to him, when you are on a date, not just rushing. Oh, get this meal done. You'll be really calm, and that will make a big difference in the type of men you attract, and just everything you attract in general.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm I know there's, you said earlier, women have to be ready in a way to hear this information, but I'm wondering if, now that I'm just going to wrap this up, are there any words of wisdom you can share for women who maybe aren't kind of ready to do this work, or just something, who are still kind of, resisting, or in the kind of, saying, I don't have time to slow down. I have, 3 kids to take care of by myself. I'm the only breadwinner. Like, is there just anything that you can share with those women, or some parting words of wisdom?
It just question everything.
Okay.
Question your beliefs. Question, and just ask yourself if it feels good. Does it feel good? At the end of the day, do you feel fulfilled? It's connect with how you feel.
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing of feminine energy. It's about how you feel. Because I believe feminine energy is about joy. It's about living in joy. It's about living fulfilled. So if a woman can say, I'm in my masculine energy, I want to be in masculine energy, I'm rushing everywhere, I'm doing lots of things, but I feel amazing, I feel really fulfilled, I feel good. By all means, you know. But I think the majority, they're not just connected to how they feel. They're just on doing mode and automated mode. And so I'm not going to say, no, you have to get out of that. You have to, no, it's the only thing I would say is check with how you feel, because what you feel matters.
And I think there's another point you mentioned earlier in the call that I wanted to bring back, and I forgot, but this reminded me when you were suggesting, just ask yourself, how do you feel, And you had mentioned something kind of related to, I forget if you used this word exactly, but this is how I interpreted it, the whole idea of responsibility to, like, it's up to us we have kind of the power. And I see this a lot in your group, actually, who would say, well, I'd be more in my feminine if, I had a man who could provide for me. I'd be more in my feminine, if I had a partner to help me with the kids, or whatnot. But part of it too is, like, we have the power to kind of decide to slow down. We have the power in some moments to, like you say, to prioritize joy and whatnot.
Absolutely. I think one of the key questions is, do you need a man in your life to be feminine? And the answer is no. So
Yeah.
that's the same thing as asking a man, do you need a feminine woman in your life in order to be masculine? Like,
Right. Yeah.
right? So, no, it's just masculine, living his life, doing his things. So, and it's the same thing with a woman. You can't decide to be, because if you're always thinking that we need the external circumstances to change. I need a man in my life to be feminine. I need to win the lottery, have lots of money to be feminine. Those things can happen, but you always be codependent. You'll become
Yeah.
a codependent relationship because you're not in your feminine power. You're getting the power from something else and from someone else. That will be codependent. It will be unhealthy. What happens if that man is not in your life anymore, or if the money is gone, or what's going to happen? You're going to lose completely all your power. So it's about the opposite. It's about deciding I want to live slower, I want to be in my feminine energy, and then the universe, starts moving and will realign your reality to match that energy. So
Um,
when you manifest or attract a partner, whatever you want to call it, it'll be a match. So you can enjoy the relationship. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. There'll always be challenges,
yeah.
but it's going to be a match. It's not somehow finally a man, because what happens very often when a woman wants a man to be feminine is going to attract someone who is not in his healthy masculine,
Right.
who is just, and it can turn into all sorts of abusive situations, or attract a man who seems masculine but is controlling or is etc. because you're giving his power to that person. So in order to attract a healthy partner, no, it's up to you. You decide how you live your life, and then you attract a partner that matches, that wants the same as you,
Yeah.
basically.
That is so amazing. What a great way to wrap it up. I feel like that was like a powerful note, no pun intended, to wrap up this call. But before we go, let the viewers know like where they can find you. Tell us about these groups that you have and if you have anything going on for them or anything. Well, I know that you have some things that they can sign up for. So tell us about it and I'll put all the links in the description below.
Okay, so you can find me at thefeminineenergy.com, which is when I have lots of content around feminine energy, about dating, relationships, etc. You can also find the group on Facebook. So if you search feminine energy on Facebook, it's the biggest group. So on feminine energy, so it's easy to find. And you can I also have two guides on my website. One is how to date as a feminine woman, and the other one is how to become a soft feminine woman. They're kind of related. So, and you can get them also on my website, or when you join the group, I'll also offer you one of the guides, and you can get the other one as soon as you subscribe. So that's a lot of ways that you can find.
Yeah, and the guides are awesome. It's all awesome. So I'm encouraging everyone to join the groups and download those guides. And thank you so much, Carla, for being on the call with me and doing this with me. It was so much fun. And hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, it was a pleasure anytime.